I told he's no longer part of the Marvel team, but I told him.
Hold on a second. You're live. I live right now.
Yeah, bro. hey, rookie mistakes. Okay, run it back. Okay, all right. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Toys, Noise, and Action Figures, alongside the big homie, the Rukkus, and also alongside a really good friend of ours, a friend of the channel, Shartimus Prime. Where you at, Sharp?
What up? I had to cover my screen for just 1 second. I'm going to move my camera to a better location over here. So
I'm going to move this chair while we're getting ourselves together. Because I
want to get a little bit more comfortable environment.
To my right, and I need to be left. There we go. That's better.
Yeah. I just realized that. So we are we are live at this guy. Oh wow!
Yeah, we are.
Wow!
Into the door crew.
Hey!
Oh yeah!
Hey, that's a pretty stunting. There's a lot of stunting going on in the background with our good friend Shartimus Prime.
Yeah.
But just real quick, I'm just using this new way of streaming. It's a lot easier than OBS. But ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that the two gentlemen that I am chatting with right now, I go way back with both the Rukkus and Shartimus. Got a chance to meet Shartimus way back in 2009 at BotCon in Pasadena, and was able to keep in touch. One of the coolest brothers that I've had the opportunity of meeting in the collecting community. And Ruck and me, we've been running these action figure streets for some time now, and the thing that I cherish and love about being a part of this community and these two fellas right here is that I'm able to get all of the, especially for Marvel Legends, I'm able to get all the knowledge I need, especially when an MCU movie comes out, and I'm trying to figure out if they got it right. I could always talk to these guys and find out the 411 on the actual canon. So welcome, gentlemen, the Rukkus, Shartimus, welcome. Thank you for hanging out with me too.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we're so the title of the video, it's going to be all encompassing. We're talking about, is the adult collecting bubble about to burst? You know what they say, all things must come to an end at some point, especially when we're talking about commerce, and we're talking about popularity, and we're talking about the markets. We've been seeing this 22 has been a really odd year, and I'll let you guys kind of flesh that out a little bit more. But the level of, number one, price hikes that we're seeing, the fact that the term adult collecting actually exists, which I didn't start hearing till maybe like 2012. But somebody in some boardroom somewhere decided there's a bunch of adults that are collecting toys. We got to cash in. And I've been seeing a lot of trends that are pointing towards that. So I want to start with you first, Russ. Let me know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, okay, as far as just the fact that we have like an acknowledged market now for adult collectors, as opposed to it being just kids' toys that people were collecting that happened to be adults, right? Because that's kind of what I felt like for a long time, that's what it really used to be.
Right.
They were intended to capture the attention of children, but there were adults that still really appreciated the art and craft of these figurines that wanted to collect them and hang on to them. But I feel like as the collecting community has, I think I'm on.
Oh, sorry, that was me.
Oh, it's okay. Well, I'm all tiny. No, it's you get the different window options. But I think that it's pretty awesome that we finally have been acknowledged as, I guess, there's a positive side and a negative side to this whole thing, where these bigger companies are seeing us as a viable demographic for sales. Like before, we were just a very small group of that big number of people that were buying figurines, action figures. Now we've kind of we've definitely become a big part, a much larger percentage nowadays. And there's a positive side, and there's definitely a negative side to that as well, I think. Yeah.
Right. And you know what? I want to get Ruck's thoughts too, because we have plenty of conversations on this. So Ruck, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I was stating earlier about, Shartimus, he mentioned it about what you did, about how 2022 was just an odd year. And one of the things that stood out the most, unfortunately to me, was how divisive it was regarding we collectors. You know, a lot of people made things personal just because they didn't agree with someone else's perspective. You had a lot of jealousy out there, and I say jealousy because they don't even know if it's true or not, if certain content creators are getting free product. And and me, I'll for the sake of argument. So if they are, what does that have to do with you?
Right.
You are in this because you choose to be. So what, you mad because the next one found a way to get a come up and you couldn't? If you know, if these content creators were getting free product, and I'm not saying they were or weren't, that's no business of mine. I don't care. In fact, I do care. If you are, more power to you. I want to try to get in that circle myself, if it's a true circle to get into. But whether it is or not, that's none of my concern. My concern is, for one, any product that received free, paid for, or otherwise gets reviewed. That's for my benefit. I get to see and get informed on whether or not it's worth getting for me.
Yeah.
That's
Nobody thinks about the benefit the viewer gets. Yeah.
Right. And we get too many people. And then if it's a content creator's perspective, he or she likes virtually everything that they've reviewed, they're a shill now. That Hasbro or Mattel or Motu or whomever, Bandai, Figure Arts, Mafex, Mezco, they can do no wrong because said creator never says anything wrong with the figure or anything like that, or downplays it. Well, for one, I've heard every single reviewer that I follow, every single one have had something that they did not like or was disappointed in the figure. Right. Now, just because they didn't dig in the companies behind and insult them and disrespect them, is that the only way you can express disdain? Yeah. For, you know what I'm saying? You can sit there and say, I would have liked, and in fact, this is what Shartimus does. It would have been nice if such and such were included or something like that. That's saying the same thing, and I could be more crass and say, them cheap assholes, they didn't put another head sculpt in. It's this. You don't have to go all ham to make your point. But it's like, if you don't sit there and curse someone out, then you're a shill, you're kissing somebody's butt, etc. And that was, to me, the most divisive part of 2022. Obviously, the other thing on the other side about the very companies that we defend, the indefensible, the rising of these prices from October of 2021 to present. There have been 3 price hikes with Hasbro. 3. McFarlane Toys, they're going to, in fact, I believe they're supposed to raise their prices this month, if I remember my information from September. They held out as long as they could. Right. But they've been $19.95 at the 7-inch scale, which by my estimation is more plastic, which means more money cost for them. Right. And they've managed to maintain their prices at $19.95 to the point where they've got to raise them. Can't get mad at that. But Hasbro, I don't care what anybody says, and like I said, I love Hasbro brand. They got me. They've got me.
They got some franchises.
They've got me in 4
franchises. Franchise boys.
I'm in that hole waiting for those figures to come out. They've got me, but this is definitely, And it's a twofold thing. You raise the prices. That in and of itself is bad enough. But it seems like QC issues have gone up, not to mention lack of justification in the form of accessories has gone down. In my opinion, they've gone down. And when I say going down, if it's the same amount of accessories as it was before, that's going down because your prices went up. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we're just getting additional sets of hands, and that's about it. And I mean, it's just crazy. You know, I've tried to rationalize why, you know, I'm like, okay, Star Wars lacks accessories most of the time. Marvel lacks accessories most of the time. Could it be because those are licensed franchises, whereas you look at G.I. Joe, which is Hasbro owns it, we get broke off with accessories with G.I. Joe.
Yeah, we do.
Because they don't have to pay anybody else.
Right.
That money is all theirs. That's me rationalizing that, but it doesn't excuse it. I mean, come on now. You know, an additional
let me chime in real quick.
Go ahead. I'll go on.
I want to go back. I want to go back a little bit to what you were talking about with the accusations online and the beefs between channels. And I have to touch on that because I know, Russ, you and I have talked about that in the past, and I'm like, if I knew the person was in the same state, within the same county, it probably would be an issue. And for somebody that grew up, number one, doing hip hop music, doing rap music for years. Number two, I grew up in a gang neighborhood. My mentality is a little different on disrespect. And the retreat, the escapism that collecting and being in this community provides is the reason I'm in this community. But once now being here for years, this isn't brand new. I've been collecting since I was a kid. But this new adult collecting thing that's existed for the last decade or so, a little more than a decade, when you start seeing people making accusations, calling names, calling you shill, calling you this, that, and third, making personal attacks. I see these YouTube guys going at it back and forth. And I'm like, yo, is this rap or is this comic book and toy collecting? Like to me, it's like, where did that come from? Now, mind you, there's plenty of people that respect each other and know why we're here. We're here because all of us got a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old kid still inside of us somewhere. That's why we're here. But for the people that start doing, I mean, it's one, I'm not saying that you can't have an opinion about a product or a release or that anything that's put out for public consumption is meant to have somebody's opinion put forward on it. But when it just comes down to disrespect, some of the people, and I'll say for Hasbro, I don't know a lot of people that work for the other companies, but I've developed friendships with guys, not because of the toys, but because literally I'm at Comic-Con and one good friend of mine that works for Hasbro looks down at my sneakers and is like, oh, you have and points them out. And I'm like, only a sneakerhead would know that. We're now friends. And literally, I mean, I've sent this guy sneakers before. We go back and forth about hip hop and things like that or whatever. So to me, it's not like I could care less if you now work for the company or if you're working for the company. At the end of the day, I view you as a human being. And then to see what people have to personally say about you because you didn't like the color palette on whatever character that they design and they put out. I mean, to me, I'm just like, I don't get how people act like that. We are literally in a community that has people that are arguing over first world problems.
Yes.
And it got worse during a global pandemic. Like people were literally dying. Millions of people were dying. And people were just like, I don't like the way the Black series. It's crazy to me. And I could go on all day about that. But
yeah, it's an ongoing issue for real. And I mean, I'll say what I always say when that ugly little thing rears its head. At the end of the day, what we do is an elective. We don't have to do this. You can opt out. You know, instead of complaining all the time, you can find something else to do with your money. Because, you know,
true.
Both of you have seen, if you've seen any of my posts and some of the threads in Instagram or whatever, you all know I'm real about this. I will sit there and I'll tell people straight up about their complaining, yet they're running with their wallets open while they're complaining about the very thing they're buying.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
The best way to complain, forget this way, you complain by shutting your wallet down and putting it back in your pocket.
Right.
That's the best way to complain when you're dealing with a corporation that's in business of making money. You know, so
but why do it just that way? You can not buy it. You could not buy it, and you could kind of make it feel like an activist movement by persuading others to not buy it.
right.
And you can profit off of it too.
Oh wow. Okay.
Why not? Why just close your wallet when there's money to be made off of complaining about it as well? I'm just saying, people. That's just another incentive to get really, public about it and get, more views and clicks and stuff like that. And I'm not saying all people that don't like figures just making clickbait content, but as somebody who does this, I've made a full-time gig out of doing it. I myself have changed the way I put my titles in my videos to kind of get that response. Now, I still have to be myself. I aim for the middle, so my content will remain the same. But if the way the world is moving right now, people don't like happy people right now. It's a hard time.
Right.
People don't like happy people right now, and it's gotta. And I honestly think it goes way beyond the action figure collecting. Our society is sick. We are a sick society right now. Just like the Ruck was saying, like, this is candy and ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
We've all turned into a bunch of cheap ass dads that didn't want to go to the amusement park with their kids that day, that don't want to pay $6 for a churro when they know that they can make 20 churros with $6 at home. And it's like you're kind of being that guy when you're at the amusement park and you're paying $5 for a $2 soda. You're getting that. There's a little bit of that happening right here, because this is supposed to be a fun activity. Now if the soda is stale or got the wrong flavor, you have a right to try to get that fixed. Like that
because you're paying your money. Yeah, exactly.
You're paying the money, so you should get what you're thinking you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the grand scheme of things, if you have $30 and you're spending and there's food and stuff that you need to buy, or there's an action figure, it's like it should be the food first. Then it's like it's an extra. It's the event on the weekend that you plan to go waste a little bit of money on. You don't want to go too crazy, but you're there kind of splurging. It's an elective. It's not a required thing that you need to keep things moving. And what's happened now is that we're getting juiced at the grocery store, the gas station, everywhere else, that now that budget for the fun stuff is getting smaller and smaller. And now that $6 churro, even though it's still, now it's an $8 churro, but it feels like a $20 churro.
Right.
Because our money.
Everybody now, so I think rightfully people are in a more negative state of mind, because if you compare just life in general in 2023 compared to 2019, 2019 was a lot more fun than 2023. Like the stuff that, like, the situation just, it sucks a little bit. People are a lot more divisive in general. There's a lot of, but with the way people are being manipulated with their politics and stuff like that, which has been going on hardcore since the 70s, I think. Ever since Nixon is, like, I think the number one to blame for that is
his legacy lives. Yes.
Yes, yeah, his legacy lives strong. Yeah, exactly. His legacy lives. Oh man, yeah, those peace signs.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he had 2 extra fingers in that whole thing. That's what he was giving the whole our society.
He was doing, yeah.
So
I want to also say thank you for bringing that part of it up because there are external forces at play, and a number of contributing factors, especially in the last couple of years. Again, we're kind of coming out of global pandemic. We're not even sure if we're out yet. And then you also
I just gave soup. Charlita one made a huge thing of soap last night so that we gave some to our neighbors. Like they both have COVID. We've got neighbors over there on the other side of the street. Their whole families.
I had it last week.
Damn.
Yeah, he had it last week.
I dodged it for like 3 years, and then they
just
caught me out on the street, and I'm not gonna lie. When I found out it was weird because I get I get the California Department of Health texting me after I leave the getting tested, and then I look on my my healthcare app and I see the results, and at first I was just like, what does this mean? I thought we were out, like, what I'm saying, what's going on? And I'm not gonna lie, I set aside a lot of my own personal rules that kept me safe for 2.5 years, 3 years. I set them kind of aside because I let my guard down. But we all want to come out and be more positive. But you're right, there's a lot of external factors that are keeping to the point where, again, right here in our little community, our little corner of the universe, it's seeped in here. And again, I've seen you and a number of people get personally attacked, and I take it personally because I go, come on, like, you don't know this person like that. But I did want to also say, do you think the stretching of the dollar, it not going as far, and people having to prioritize things and getting a little bit grumpier? I know there's a lot of other factors that went into these failures, but do you think that actually tangibly affected like the failed HasLabs? Because there was a number this year that failed, whereas in the past we've seen like 1 or 2. Cookie Monster was definitely on the chopping block. We knew that from the time they announced it. But I mean, like this year we watched the Engine of Vengeance, Reva's Saber.
Was of course the Rancor.
Oh, we only let's the Rancor.
And of course the Rancor.
Yeah, the Rancor was actually 2021, but
that's right.
End of 2021.
Well, let me promote this show on my, because if you guys notice me looking down, I'm just trying to. I want to get this promoted on Instagram really quick.
Oh, dope. Yeah. I need to work on my social media. I'm old.
And it's incredible that it was 2021, and here we are in January of 23.
But you know what? No, I know that Rancor was 2021. What, October? I mean, it was
December. I mean, it ended because I was still
in New
York when it ended.
But that was a cluster F, if you ask me. There's just way too many things going on. I think Victory Saber was going on around that time. Galactus had just wrapped up. Wasn't there like a Mattel thing going on? I can't remember what was going on with that. No, that was Eternia this year. But I watched how the Rancor was like for whom the bell tolls. Like I think it set a precedence to where, especially for Black Series, the audience didn't trust the Black Series and HasLab anymore. Because Vintage Collection worked out. The Razor Crest worked out.
I think it was Hasbro. It was the Roost. The Roosters were coming home. They were coming home. Chickens were coming home to roost. That's the way to say it. Right. And what I mean by that is, and it's mostly meaning we the collectors' fault. We were basically taking whatever Hasbro was throwing at us and buying it anyway until the Rancor. You know what I'm saying? And then that was the line that was drawn in the sand. They were basically, there comes a time where we're spending our money on your products and we're telling you what we want. you've provided us a way to get some of the things that admittedly wouldn't do well in brick and mortars, public stores. You gave us this HasLab program so we can get things that you normally couldn't sell at regular retail. Right. So we ask you, and I'm saying we as all collectors, I wasn't asking for it, but we're all in this together. So it's we asked for ULA. You wouldn't give us that. Even when there's no way that giving ULA in a HasLab project where you're making exactly how many units that are paid for, which means every unit that's produced is going to someone that, check this out, wants one. Right. Right. So what's the controversy? Why couldn't we get ULA? You know, and wanted the keeper as well, and that got thrown in. They were so desperate they threw in the keeper, didn't even have the mold done. They didn't even have it designed yet.
Yeah, they just gave us a picture, I think, right?
You know,
I was like, oh man, this is almost as bad as Street Humans. Holy shit! Like, like,
I'm not. No, absolutely not.
Wow. But that's good that you can clown. But yeah, I'll let you do it. You can clown it.
Yeah, I'll clown my own failed project.
but
now we're speaking life into that. That's going to happen. Why?
Yeah, but that was a case of enough is too much, Hasbro, and now I still think the problem is that Hasbro is such I mean, they're such an entity now that they can absorb some L's like that. Right. And when I mean absorb the L's, obviously they can absorb the L's financially, but I'm talking about their arrogance is so high that they still don't see why they took the L. You know, they just viewed they took the L, and maybe somebody along the chain got shat on and they had to take the hit and the company keeps rolling. But I haven't seen anything that has led me to believe that Hasbro has quote unquote learned their lesson.
I would disagree with. Well, I don't know about learned their lesson exactly, but I do think that they noticed the hurt. Like, I think they feel the hurt from it. So I saw I forgot who was interviewing Ryan Ting, but I heard in an interview where Ryan had mentioned something about them having a new HasLab team. Like, they had done they had gotten like a new department with Hasbro Pulse or something like that, where they in the last year or two, I think, starting in 2021 with that Rancor, was when we got where they got a new team working HasLab. And it's just my suspicion. Now we're getting into flat Earth territory over here, okay? I believe, with the little information he gave in that interview about it, that they have some new corporate heads in there trying to have the creative say in the way these things are being made, and they're out of touch and don't have the same experiences that the design team has with the product, or even their marketing teams, and they're making choices based off of ideas that aren't necessarily rooted into the desires of what the collectors want to see from them. For instance, that HasLab, the Engine of Vengeance, to me, I was mildly insulted by that. And I say mildly, but I was insulted by it because I was insulted by it because I didn't hear anybody talk about having a Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider when the Sentinel had come out, or after Galactus had just come out. Like, as soon as a HasLab comes out and it does well, everybody immediately starts talking about the next one. Right. We got Galactus. Now what? Who are we gonna get? Giant Man? Or are we gonna get Black?
Nobody said. I know that. Nobody said Robbie Reyes.
Nobody said Robbie Reyes. and they're doing this Latino History Month kind of thing, and I'm like, okay, so are you trying to like win over a Latino demographic, like specifically with this? Like, is that what the plan was here? Like, why? I just really want to know, why was that the choice? Because they're making it sound like that they're trying to cater to a Latino demographic a little bit.
Right.
And and I didn't feel like that was totally necessary. Like, to be honest, I mean, I am half Caucasian, half Latino, but I mean, it's like I very much appreciate seeing Latin representation. Like, it does mean a lot to me. So I do appreciate that when it comes from the heart.
Right. When it's
grassroots. Like, it came, like Ryan Coogler, that came straight from the heart. That was directly from the heart, and I felt it. This one, it didn't have that same kind of punch for me, so I didn't really get excited for it in that kind of way for it. If that's what they're going for, though, I feel like it's kind of wrong to make it all about that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Wouldn't that be kind of weird? Like, if
that's on your part, that sounds like constructive criticism, looking at it from the standpoint of what was the meaning behind it, what was the intention behind it. But what I saw from the community, though, like, I'm like, man, people were like going at Bug. Like, I'm like, yo, like, this man is asking the questions that you're supposed to be asking, and he's getting called a shill, and people.
That was a great interview. That was the best interview.
I don't know what else you want.
The best interview I think I've ever seen an action figure collector. Like that one-on-one, that was the most he stuck to the questions. He was respectful. He had good quick follow-ups. Like, some people say that it wasn't as great of an interview as I thought it was. Whatever, you could have your opinion, but I've watched a lot of interviews, and I think that was the best action figure.
He did part 2 or something like that. He was there, and even the PR person from Hasbro was like, "Yo, we got to cut it. It's time to go." And I mean, if he was really a shill, if he was really like kissing their behind, he's not asking the type of questions he's asking, number one. And number two, he's not going to keep pressing issues. He was asking questions like he was a real reporter.
Yes.
Like he was a man on the street.
And he managed to, and you see, the reason I give him his flowers for a great, if not the greatest interview ever, he, with being professional and not insulting anyone, he drew out the passion and emotion from Ryan. Ryan let loose a little bit because his frustration.
There's a lot of pivoting going on.
I think that was the interview when Ryan had mentioned the extra team. I think it was the part 2 interview where he had mentioned there's a new team. Yeah.
Yep. And that was a guy. I told him, I went, I got at him on the gram and told him, dude, I don't know if you went and took some lessons from Walter Cronkite or whatever, but that was.
He's been working at it.
He was a regular Barbara Walters on that.
Yeah. Boog has been honing his craft for years. Say that again. I'm sorry, I talked over.
He asked every question he said he was going to ask.
He did.
That's the main reason why I took 2 parts. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No. And
they dragged it. They still drag. I'm like, what do you want? Like, you can't win. Like,
yeah. Well, that's where we're kind of. That's where I think the sickness comes in, when we're kind of had this whole thing of like fueling factions in the community, people really trying to kind of get this haters versus shills kind of thing, where it's like, you really it actually hurts if you're going to split people into both sides, which I don't like doing, because in reality everybody's got complaints, so you can call them all haters, and everybody's got things that they adore about collecting, and you could call them shills. So the real reality here is everybody is a shill and a hater by those standards.
That's right. That's true.
So we all criticize these things. I don't think I have ever watched any figure. I mean, I'm sure they're out there. There may be some out there, but I'm just really not familiar with many at all. I think it's extremely rare to find a reviewer that just does not criticize. Like, how do you get anywhere not criticizing anything?
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know, and then the other thing too is that it is very easy to make assumptions. It's very easy to say it. See, like if I get something for free, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And chances are, a lot of people don't think about this, but from my perspective, when I review a figure, I review a figure with the creators in the room. Because when I go to the next convention, they recognize me.
Mhm.
I show up, they know my name.
This guy too, yeah. Trust me.
So if you're on that level where you have that human connection, you know that there's going to be somebody that's going to see that, and you're going to see them face to face, you're going to address it that kind of way. But a lot of people don't think that they're ever going to run into anybody in person face to face, and they just go off and they just let everything fly off the handlebars, and they start dehumanizing the people that work on the product and stuff, and they start dehumanizing other creators and everything. And it's I kind of lost the idea of my point right there, but I just don't like how we're splitting each other apart. And one thing that is making me so I think it's in some ways, last thought on that, in some ways though, I feel like it has brought some other people together. Like I feel like I've liked Anthony's customs now even more as time has gone on, because if you look at the history of Anthony's customs,
right,
like he's like maybe like I don't have a lot of memories of him trash talking other content creators.
No.
Like,
He'll trash the figure in question, but not or the company that made the figure, but not content creators.
But I mean, he's critiquing it in absolutely stand-up way though.
Yeah, and people, and I get it, because if you're new in the game, you want to make yourself stand out, so you're going to try to put other people down to elevate yourself, right? So I'm not like one of those other collectors that gets stuff for free and just says it's good. That's what I was going to say, is when you get something for free and you give your honest opinion, it's harder to do that.
Yeah.
And it sucks when people don't acknowledge that. That's very frustrating, because it's harder because I get excited, man. It's like a kid getting a birthday present. You get excited. There's that initial excitement, like, holy crap, I have this cool figure over here that I've always wanted to see, and I have it in my hands. Nobody else has it in my hands. I can talk about it.
They don't. A lot of people, I mean, the ones that will hate or will have something negative to say, what they don't realize is, especially for content creators, I remember when I was in middle school and in high school, I had a music column in school, and back then we didn't have streaming. We had to go buy the CD. We had to actually, go get it. And I know I'm old, and a lot of people don't understand that now. But I remember going to get or CDs, cassettes, and I remember doing honest reviews. Like, I mean, nobody's giving it to me, but I'm doing an honest review on it. And then even nowadays, when I'm spending my money, I've only gotten a couple things from Hasbro before, and I was very honest about how I felt about it. So I was impressed with it. Was it classic? Was it dope? Was it cool? Or was it whack? Whatever. That's my rating scale. But you're right. When you're actually getting it for free, it's almost like you're reviewing music or a movie or something like that or whatever. Because at the end of the day, I'm spending my own money. So there's a good chance that I'm not going to go buy something I know I'm going to hate just so I can hate on it and present it to you. Like, no, you can just send it to me for free. It's easier to hate on it when you send it to me for free because I didn't buy it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's actually the other way around. And I find it best to be I'm so passionate about collecting that I want all the figures to be better where there's room for them to be better.
Right.
So why would I don't want to distract the criticism or get people distracted by the criticism, by my outrage, and it's so I want the critique to get out there. But the other point, to make one factor that I've been kind of learning a little bit recently too, is that the younger people have been getting older and they're still younger. And I don't know if you've heard of this YouTuber. His name is Spider Criminal. And I don't know how old he is, but he's like, I don't know, he's like an older teen, young 20s, right? I'm just gonna say he's 21. Imagine he's 21 years old. When he's dropping F-bombs left and right, you know, like F this, F so angsty, so mad.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, I remember when I felt that like that. I remember those days. That sucked. Like, I remember that. And I'm older now. I have accomplishments under my belt. I have a lot more self-esteem. I have a lot more value to myself in this world. I see where I fit in. When I was 21, I didn't know where I fit into this world.
And you're probably used to people not listening to you anyway.
Yeah. Nobody giving me a shit, whatever I said or felt about anything. But like now, you know, it's I feel I have some value. I have these two beautiful kids that light me up. You know what I mean? That I get, you know, I get excited. Just like I'm in a much better place in my own personal timeline right now than the 21-year-old. So
you sound like Sean Long. You sound like Sean Long.
Yeah.
He's a guy I have a lot of respect for. I've met him a few times. I get a chance to, you know, contact him back and forth on social media. And I know recently he's gracefully bowed out, at least from the collecting standpoint, and his channel being geared towards toy reviews and whatnot. And he's made it very clear. His son River has put a new light in him to where his perspective is extremely different. His priorities are extremely different. But he's not the only person that's done a video like that recently. I've seen other YouTube reviewers that have huge followers saying that it's just not as fun anymore. And they're sharing the same sentiments that we're talking about right now, where they're just like, okay, well, it's time consuming, number one, doing these videos. Number two, there's a lot of negativity. Number three, we're watching these price hikes like crazy that seem like they're unexplained. And then it could go on and on. When I say the possible demise of adult collecting, I'm looking at it like, you know how this whole industry, anything that makes money, people are always gambling on it. Is it going to last? How long is this trend going to keep going? How long can we keep making money off of it? You see, people have been waiting for the end of the MCU since Phase 4. You know, like literally they've been like, oh, is this the end of comic book popular movies and this in pop culture, this, that, and the third or whatever, when those of us who actually grew up on it, and again, we use it as a vehicle for escapism, we're not timing when it's not going to be trendy anymore. We're not like, oh man, 5 years is probably going to be over. Then I got to go back to, I don't know, grunge. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense. But that's the culture that we live in, where people are like looking at things and going, when is the bubble going to burst on this? It's popular right now. And there's some negativity seeping in. So this has got to be the end. Is Motu going away? Is G.I. Joe going away? And instead of just stopping to smell the roses and enjoy it.
Yeah, just ride it. Just enjoy the ride. All rides end. And yes, it's disappointing when it ends, but that's reality. You accept it, and then you keep on moving. You find another train to jump on. That's all. That's what you do. And yeah, you just keep that on. You keep that moving. Yeah, you said it all. There's no reason for me to even expand on what you said. You covered it. You covered it.
Are either of you extremely excited to have like 6.5-inch scale Indiana Jones figures?
I actually am. I'm quite intrigued. You know what I'm saying? I understand that there isn't. It's kind of like Ghostbusters. There isn't much they can do with it. You know, it's a very limited franchise in terms of characters and stuff.
And it's only based on the movie. So
yeah. But I think, you know, from a collector standpoint, yeah. You know, I'm probably not going to have the same kind of tactile fun as I have with Marvel Legends or GI Joe.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. What's up?
But yeah, I'm excited for it.
Is that Charlita? Please tell her.
Yeah, Charlita one. What do you need? Hold on. I'm sorry, you guys. One second.
Make sure she knows that we said hello too.
All right. I will.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Now, I'm gonna tell you right now. As much as I love the Indiana Jones movies, especially Temple of Doom. That came out in '84. I was 8. My mom took me to see that. I'm a big fan of Harrison Ford. I cannot go down that rabbit hole. I was in Target last night, and I was on the phone with you, and I was telling you what they had there, and they did the reset, and they got the beautiful Python Patrol figures in there, and the Python Patrol officer, and they got the Tiger for
2 gram cycle.
Yeah, the Ram cycle. I mean, I love classified series. For those of you, I haven't done any videos on me unboxing any of them. I got Serpentor, and when I got Serpentor here, I had to open up. Well, you see my videos. If you see my video on my classified collection, see how many I have.
Okay, hold on.
I opened up the classified figures, and I love them. It's the line of the year. Classified. We're talking about the Indiana Jones, but I'm saying how I can't go down that rabbit hole. I can't do it. I
got 10 minutes, by the way. I got it. I got it in like 10 minutes.
I won't even get Python Patrol. I won't even get Tiger Force, only because I'm like, that's a whole nother subgroup of repaints that I don't want to have to go get, because I know me, my OCD, my completist mindset is going to be like, I need all of them, and I'm not doing it.
I was about to actually I already gotten Outback. But I was going to. That was the only Tiger Force that I had, and then I was going to. I was dope. Yeah, I was going to cancel the rest because I was like, these are really just repaints. But then I made the mistake and going through my my recommendeds on YouTube, and why did I have to see the cartoon that had the resurrection of Cobra Commander? And that's where I learned about Python Patrol. They're all for. And now that just made it worse, because now we need a Cobra Commander in that armor. And that legitimizes
version 3.
That legitimizes the Python Patrol, because they work for that version of the Cobra Commander. So yes.
Why did you even say that? I didn't need to hear that. That's not what I needed to hear now.
But you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Because now we've got Python Patrol bats and Python Patrol officers and troopers. We're now, and it's wild because we've gotten way too many Cobra Commanders that all look the same. This one looks different,
right?
With that armor that he's got, which is dope, by the way. So yeah, I'm on Team Cobra Commander to get that version, just to justify and legitimize having the Tiger, the Python Patrol.
We segued from Indiana Jones into what he hates most, snakes. So I thought that was pretty fitting. But yeah,
that works. Yeah.
I can't go down that rabbit hole. I have decided. I was actually happy.
Small rabbit hole though. It's like
it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. It's like Ghostbusters. It's going to end sooner rather than later.
Yeah. That's what I liked about Ghostbusters. I have all of those. I'm missing like 1 2-pack, like that variant 2-pack. But yeah, I picked up.
About from Hasbro.
Yeah, those Hasbro figures.
Yeah, but why did they put out that Ecto 1 that you can't put none of the figures in? I didn't understand.
Yeah, I ended up not opening that because of that. That's And I think I actually still have that Ecto 1. Damn.
Right.
I'm waiting for when I can get the display set up. I don't have it set up yet.
One more thing as far as the adult collecting is concerned. You're an adult when most people that watch my channel know that I backed Unicron, I championed it, and you got it too, Sharp. But I just, when they put out Unicron, especially at the price point, and it was a HasLab project, I was like, thank the Lord. After this, I probably won't want to buy anything else anyway. I was in on War for Cybertron, Siege, Kingdom, Earthrise. When they did Studio 86, I was like, all right, Studio 86, that's it. But now that they started to segue into Beast Wars, Beast Machines, things like that, reissuing the first generation ones of those, and they're doing a movie, and even Earthrise, War for Cybertron, Earthrise, Siege, and Kingdom all kind of put that multiverse together so that they could start promoting Beast Wars and things like that. I actually, as an adult collector, was going, oh, thank the Lord. Like, I'm not going to be tempted to get anything else. There's no more rabbit holes to go down. I got all the Transformers I really want. But I just, as an adult collector, I'm going, how many Mario coins do you have to keep going? And have you already gotten what you really wanted? I mean, I have a ton of vintage stuff from all the stuff I wanted when I was a kid. I got it. Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain. I got the classics, Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain. I've got figures from way back then. I got an entire Star Wars collection. If you guys watched that video, that somebody basically gave me. But now that I have all the stuff I wanted from when I was a kid, then I got all the stuff of the updated versions of it with the better sculpt, better paint. What else do I need? As an adult collector, I'm going, okay, have I tapped out? Am I good? That's how I'm feeling now.
I feel that way about specific characters or specific franchises that I'm into, where I'm kind of like at a certain point, like I'd gotten a Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, like 6-inch scale Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, and I was like, okay, you know what? That's it. That's the last one. Like, I'm really, or Devastator. The last Devastator that they did, the 16-inch Devastator, like, I am certain that's like the last one. There's third-party companies that are going to make more of them, but like that Devastator is it. Like, I'm sorry if anybody else made some really dope ones that they're advertising, but if I haven't gotten a set of aerial bots that I've fallen.
Yeah, you're right. That last one, what Combiner Wars, wasn't it?
But there's a third-party company that's making. Are you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do, and I can't. That's why yeah, I'm not doing it.
I'm in. I'm going for it. I have to. I love. They look so sick. That silver all the way through the gunmetal gray. They look so real.
Yeah, it's just too much. Brother, there's naked turtles. There's Super 7 turtles. There's Playmates turtles. There's it's so much, bro.
The Fisco turtles coming up. I pre-ordered those. Like, yeah, certain turtles. I want every version of them.
Bro, I got the Playmates reissues that came out at Toys R Us some years ago, like 2012. I got the cartoon turtles with the more articulation that came out back then. I got the NECA quarter scale. I got the turtles and Shredder. And then at some point I was like, yo, like that's like 4th or 5th on your list of favorite franchises. How did we get here? And as an adult, I go, what else do you actually need? And at this point now, as an adult, I'm also going, how can you actually make money off of it? No, I don't want to open a toy store or anything like that, but maybe it's time that I take some of my creativity and maybe create some. I know that's something you've been burning and putting in the hours to develop. But I mean, just as adult collectors, I think sometimes we start off wanting to get in for that thing we didn't get, that holy grail we didn't get as a kid. And then we go, oh, but I need the other figures. I need the other, I need the bad guys. Yeah. You start, and that snowball just starts building and building. Yeah. And then at some point you end up with a bunch of grumpy old men online typing like Kermit the Frog, angry at each other.
Yeah. You heard what I said about CC in the armor. Now I've rationalized it in my head. I need to have that to justify having the Python control.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and yeah, we definitely do. Shoot, I got into collecting for the most base of emotions, jealousy. I'll never forget. I was working one day, and there was a KB Toys across the street from where we went for lunch. And I don't know why I walked in there. It was in Encinitas. Okay. And I don't know why I walked in there. But I walked in there, and this will tell you how long ago this was, Short. I walked in there, and what did I see on one of the pegs? I saw Toy Biz, and I want to say that was Series 5 Colossus. And now I had stopped collecting. I was collecting the 5-inch Toy Biz figures. You know, they only had, you know, articulation. And I had the Colossus that had he was like this, didn't even have fists, and it was just so he could lift his barbell. And I saw that Colossus, you know, it was so detailed, and then the gunmetal grid and all that. And I was jealous. I'm like, now you see, they're gonna come out with nice stuff like this now.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, oh, finally! Like, jeez, it took how long?
I resisted. There was a KB in our mall in Carlsbad. Yep. Went in there and saw some others, and I resisted as long as I could. And I said, you know what, I'm jumping back in. And then I did. Yeah, and that meant I came in at Series 5. I had, and completionist that I am, I had to get everything from Series 1 on, you know, and I showed my Series 1 when the oh wow, your question that you asked before we went live about your list. I'll just say that I don't want to spoil anything.
You got it.
I just reminded myself on some. Yeah. Anyhow, you know, and I showed those. So yeah, jealousy is what got me in this game, got me back into it. Jealous that I missed out. Y'all coming out with all of these nice detail. They look so close to what I've read. They look more like, I don't even know what word to use, but less like toys than the stuff I grew up with looked like toys. You know, the stuff I grew up with, they look like toys. You know,
they have little buttons and little lights.
These look like collectible items. I guess that's the best way to.
I know you got to get ready to roll out.
Yeah, I have like 2 more minutes. I got like.
Hey, brother. Hey, we appreciate you having me. Having you being. I appreciate both of you guys, Ruck.
Yeah,
Russ, thank you guys for even being on. Man, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to answer some of the questions and do the shout outs.
I can answer a question or two real quick. I just have to help with dinner and stuff.
Yeah, no problem.
Shirley, the one says hi. She's not feeling really well right now. She's a little sick.
You got to make sure and ask her that she got the DJ equipment. She's got it.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that not too long ago. Yeah, she wants to get into it.
Hey, I want to say Pixel Phantom 85. What's up, fam?
Oh, hey, what's up, Pixel Phantom? How's it going?
Mark Villani. Let's see. Gen X. Why doesn't wait, that's a good question. Why doesn't the HasLab team lead with stuff that sells? You lead with a Madeline Pryor. I'm not even gonna touch that one because we all have questions about the way they do things.
That was the other one too. Yeah, I mean, I feel like HasLab is supposed to be made to order for adult collectors. You know what I mean? And Ula and Madeline Pryor, they shouldn't be scared of boobies when they're selling to adults. Like
it's just under boobage.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of under boobage, a little bit of cleavage. It's like, come on, man, we're adult. You know, you're selling to adults.
Under boobage is the surprise that you didn't know that you were waiting for.
Yeah, that's what I thought too when I first saw it.
You always get the over cleavage, but when you get the under, you're like, I wasn't even looking, but okay, thank you.
I would have never thought of that. That was
on a more serious level. To just, we would have never seen that hanging on a Target peg.
Never.
You know, we would never have to worry about it getting crunched in a Walmart baggie when it's delivered to us.
Right.
Like Jesse and Andor did yesterday. That's another story. But yeah, you know, that's what I thought HasLab was you know, the whole concept of it was. But you know, that pressure that they, you know, they give into it. So
sir. Hey, we want to say thank you to everybody that chimed in. Quatechi. We said Gen X, Wubio, the Cocker Spaniel. That's a dope name.
Mark Villani,
yeah, got that shout out right there too. Man, thank you, Sharp. Really appreciate you. You know, we'll be talking real soon.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thanks again.
Right.
Definitely enjoyed it. It's another highlight for me in my my journey here in the collecting land. It's great. Another milestone.
And anybody that's watching the video right now, whether it be live or afterwards, just keep in mind, as far as the adult collecting community is concerned, man, please just keep it positive. That's why we're here. We're here because we want some escapism. The world is already crazy and tough as it is, especially for those of us that get up and go to work every day. I'm not complaining about my job, but there's a number of things I'd rather be doing. So this is where we come to just connect, have a good time, and be positive. Let's try to keep that same energy.
Shartimus, before you go, I can't imagine for the life of me anyone who would not know, but tell them where to find you, both of them.
Oh yeah, you can find me on the Shartimus Prime YouTube channel over on YouTube under Shartimus Prime, all the platforms. Shartimus Prime.
There you go. For me, the Rukkus. You can look for me. Same name, the Rukkus. Look for that. And my second channel, THA RUKKUS. Exactly. And my second channel is Rukkosaurus Rex. That's for those of anybody that are into dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals. And I've got some stuff coming up. Beast of the Mesozoic. Finally, send me my notification about the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Licking my chops for that, for sure. So be on the lookout. Anyway, yeah, there you go.
And if you're here already, you already found me, Red Cheney, Toys, Noise, and Action Figures. And you could also
where you at. I don't even know how to look for your channel.
And then you could also find me on IG at REGGHENNY. That's on Instagram. So thank you for tuning in.
Rukkus on IG as well. That's right. The same thing. The Rukkus. _Rukkus. Just like that.
All right. You have a good night.
Be good.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Peace.
I had to do the Nixon one. I don't know.